Hey everyone, Draco Prime 220 here, and today I'm doing a spoiler review for He-Man Masters of the Universe. If you do not want to be spoiled of anything that happens in the movie, please leave the video now, go see the film, and come back later. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. It would be very much appreciated. First and foremost, I have never seen He-Man. I've seen, like, the little memes of, I have the power, and of Skeletor. I know who Skeletor is, because I've seen, like, pictures of him and everything. This was my first ever watch of He-Man. Anything He-Man related. I gotta say, this was a very fun movie. Very fun, very entertaining, actually more funny than I thought it was gonna be. Did I think it was gonna be dark, brutal, and serious? Nah. I think this is a very, very nice, pleasant film to go watch. Funny, entertaining, action-packed, some sweet moments, some sad moments. I think this is a good movie for take your kids, take your friends and family, and go have a good time. We do open on the planet Eternia and the Kingdom of Grayskull, and we hear the narration by Adam, Prince Adam, I should say, telling of where he originally comes from. We meet the King, the Queen, the Sorcerer, and Man-at-Arms, played by Idris Elba. Adam is not the strongest kid going in the class. I have to also say, side note, some of the dialogue from Idris Elba is really good. Like, some of the lines, I have to say, have a lot of depth and meaning. Like, sometimes you gotta stand up so you stand tall, get up so you could stand tall. That was a good line. That actually is one of my favorite lines from Man-at-Arms. Adam makes a friend who actually, likes him, likes to be his friend, just actually follows him because his father shows up, challenges him to a duel with an actual sword. And it's a little sad because it's kind of like the somewhat cliche father with expectations, stern father, kind of like, it's not that he's being a jerk, he's trying to make his son be a man. But he's kind of going about it the not so right way. This does lead to Kingdom of Grayskull being attacked by Skeletor, played by Jared Leto. I don't know much about Jared Leto, to be honest. I like Skeletor. He was actually one of my favorite parts of the film. For one, he's a villain. He knows it. He admits it. He says it, I'm a villain. I'm a bad guy. That felt good. I couldn't even tell that was Jared Leto. The one time I did see Jared Leto was in the Suicide Squad. I don't know how his voice actually sounds, but how he did the voice of Skeletor was very good. They attack, Skeletor's army attacks Grayskull. Man-at-Arms fights Snapjaw or something. He's like this mechanical guy with a metal jaw. I can't remember his name. They get into a fight, and I'll say this, the fight choreography is very brutal, fast, and hits hard. This does lead to Kingdom Grayskull falling, and this leads to Man-at-Arms kind of going into a slump. We'll get to that in a bit. This leads to the Sorceress, which I have to say also the costume design is really good. Very, actually the Sorceress looks absolutely majestic. All the costumes that were made for the characters were spot on from what I do know of He-Man. Like I said, I'd never seen the show. I have seen little trailers for the cartoon, posters, images. I say that the costume work was spot on. I thought how that opening, the opening really is what sold me. And then we go to where he loses the sword and he ends up in Oklahoma. And I have to admit, he's that tiny little boy falling from the sky into a lake. And that no normal kid would survive that. But, you know, I thought that was kind of funny. He's like, he doesn't even make a big splash. He goes like it's like throwing a pebble in the lake, like boop. But he's talking, and actually we find out he's talking to a date, I guess, and she's looking at him like he's crazy, like he's nuts. I kind of get it, you know. He remembers his home, like he just feels like it. He's outcast, he's alone, and he has a job, and he's trying to find if someone knows where this sword is. He does find out where the sword is, and Teela, who's the kid friend that we see in the beginning, actually finds him because the sword let out a distress signal, and Skeletor sent Beastman. And I have to say, that first little encounter with Beastman, he was pretty cool. I actually didn't know he could talk. Like, when you see him later on, he actually talks, and like, Skeletor's just a complete douche in this movie, but I love it. I'll get to him a little bit more in a bit. Teela and Adam are trying to evade Beastman. They end up heading back to Eternia, and this leads to one of Skeletor's minions actually seeing that Teela's ship has gone by, and they're basically following them to where they're hiding. Skeletor is asleep at this point, and this pig thing wakes him up, and he wakes up, and it's kind of creepy how he sleeps. He's got, like, you know, like how in the morgue they got, like, bodies covered with a cloth or something. It's kind of like that, and he's like, break my staff and I'll grind you into sausage, just like I did your mother. And I'm like, okay, okay, Skeletor. I'm sorry. You could feel the evil oozing off Skeletor. It does lead to Skeletor finding out that Teela's ship has gone through the ruins of the city and is heading to this hideout, and they already are like 10 steps ahead, actually going to find where they're hiding. And of course, Adam meets who he remembers: Ram Man, Fisto, Mech-Neck. There's a giant robot that actually helps out, like a battle bot that was reprogrammed into a nurse, some kind of servant or something. And then we find out there's a drunk guy, and lo and behold, it is Man-at-Arms. And it's pretty much shown that ever since what happened with Eternia, he's kind of gone into a slump and has become a drunk. But he gets back on his feet once Skeletor and everyone else shows up. And this actually leads to our first of Prince Adam changing into He-Man. And I have to say, it's really cool. Like, I have to say that I like the origin of how he has all these powers. And it leads to a very cool fight with some of Skeletor's minions. And Skeletor, once again, I love his lair. It's like a giant king cobra, and he's got like it kind of gave me vibes from Aladdin, where Jafar, like, originally in the Sultan's palace, the throne was like an elephant, but with Jafar, it's a cobra. I like that. I like it that it's all snake themed. That's pretty cool. Very classic villain lair: volcano, statue, a snake, you know, that sort of thing. Gave me Disney's Aladdin vibes. This does lead to them finding out by killing Mossman, and I felt kind of bad because all the characters are pretty much likable. Even the bully ends up being friends with Prince Adam to I guess to an extent. This does lead to them getting into a big aerial battle with Skeletor's minions, and leads to them crashing. And of course, Man-at-Arms finds his old equipment, and he decides to get back into action. Then we see a giant, like, magical projection of Skeletor saying, you know, if you give me that sword, I will give you back your parents. And Prince Adam goes to Skeletor's lair, and it leads to a very brutal battle between Skeletor's minions once again and He-Man. And it's a pretty cool, the fight scenes once again are very well done. It does lead to Skeletor like really pissing off He-Man and actually shoots like a blast of energy or lightning from the sword and causes a cave-in, inadvertently killing his father. I have to say that was actually a very sad moment where he just saw his father and he's gone. It's pretty sad to watch. And he actually admits, I didn't do things a certain way. I didn't want you to be different. I was just trying to make you a man, but I should have said things I should have said then that I'm saying now. And it's a very heartbreaking scene. Of course, Man-at-Arms is like, the reason why you got to be a man when it comes to your family, to protect them, to be there for them when they need you. And it does lead to Prince Adam being captured, the sword is taken, and it leads ultimately to the battle robot getting her battle programming back, and they do escape. But there's a scene, I'm sorry, it was so funny, I cracked up laughing, I couldn't stop, when Skeletor's like, well, he's all dramatic, he's very theatrical, if you want to know if that makes any sense. He's like, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power, and he's like, look, I'm like, did I say it right? And he's like, I'm sorry. Oh my god. He's like, that scene had me laughing in the theater. I'm like, oh my god. I didn't expect Skeletor to be this funny. And, but that's what I like about Skeletor. He's kind of unpredictable. He goes from being terrifying, evil, but also funny. He's a proper balance of being evil, scary, and funny. And this does lead to them going back to Castle Grayskull so that Evil Lyn can do a ritual that will allow him to use the power of the sword. This does lead to our heroes escaping, leading to a big epic final battle at Castle Grayskull. And this does lead to him getting the sword, but he grabs it. Skeletor blasts it with I love his scepter. Really cool. I'm sorry. I kind of miss those kind of movies with wizards and warriors where swords looked unique. You saw a staff of a wizard, and if it had something on it, you knew if you saw a staff with a skull and thorns on it and stuff, you would say, yeah, that screams bad guy, And this does lead to Skeletor just messing Adam up, mentally and physically. And it's kind of funny how he goes from he even is taunting him, but I have to admit, seeing Skeletor in a work outfit and actually in a suit, I have to say Skeletor looks pretty cool in a suit. He looked pretty good, for an evil warlock. He does also end up in a work outfit, and I'm like, yeah, they knew what they were doing, how, because I do know that I haven't seen the 80s cartoon, but I do know from what I've heard it is very kind of 80s cheese. But so I kind of like how they added little bits there. It does lead to an emotional moment where he dies temporarily. He-Man dies, and the sorceress tells him that the sword wasn't the power. You were the vessel for the power. It's almost like the sword is emits the power. He's the vessel, it's the emitter, and he can conduct it and use it when he needs to. And he wakes up, he becomes He-Man, then he's trying to talk, Skeletor saying maybe you're just upset because you wanted to be king, or no one really loved you. And Skeletor's like, you think, and I'm thinking, this ain't gonna work. And I like how they make it like Skeletor was actually thinking, but then he starts laughing. I'm like, there it is. It didn't work. And he's like, I'm a villain. And like, ooh, wasn't that feel good? And I'm like, yeah, Skeletor revels in being a villain, and it leads to a very cool fight between the two. And Skeletor pulls no punches. He's pretty tough, too. He won't only damage you emotionally and physically, he'll screw with you mentally, too. Like, he knows how to attack you on all ends, and I like that. I like that a villain... There was a movie, Dragonheart, where Rob Cohen said that what he viewed scary for a villain was their brains, not their brawn. My personal opinion is, if there is a villain that can beat you mentally, emotionally, and physically, I think that's what makes a villain actually scary. They just don't hurt you one way, they can hurt you multiple ways. That's what makes, to me, is what makes a villain scary. This does lead to, He-Man using his power, and the punches he gives to Skeletor is absolutely devastating. He, fixes his jaw. He's like, can we talk? He's all down, like, can we talk, please? And then He-Man's like, time for talk is over, and utterly demolishes Skeletor, and all that's left of him is his skull. There is one character I did not really mention, which was Cringer, the tiger, the big green tiger. I actually thought he was absolutely adorable, and I never knew he could talk. I'm like, he could talk? And he kept saying how he needs a battle armor and how he needs battle armor. Ironically, at the end, he does get it. And I love that. I actually liked that he did get the armor at the end, and I just thought, I have two cats, so it was nice seeing Cringer, the tiger. You know, he helps out a bit. There's even a point where he's fighting Beastman, and he's, like, chewing on his head like a chew toy. I do like how the movie ends, where he says he all had names for them, and they say, you had a name for yourself? He's like, yeah, but you all laugh. He's like, He-Man. And I thought how it ended is where they say, yeah, everyone, it's like 6 months later, he actually brought his friend, his guy who he rented with, to his world, and he's like a little freaked out. I mean, who wouldn't be? And it does lead to him changing, and actually Cringer gets armor. And at the end, we see an iconic pose of him on Cringer, and they rear up, and the credits roll. And then we actually, spoilers, once again, this is a spoiler review. We see She-Ra. The only reason why I know who She-Ra is from Netflix. Because the banner sometimes would show She-Ra, because that's how I knew who she was. Like the suit, the outfit, that's how I knew who she was. I never seen the show. If anyone knows of any good She-Ra or He-Man cartoons, please advise them to me in the comment section below. I'd appreciate it. I have to say, bottom line, this movie was fun. This movie is a good family film, you know, to take your kids, take your family, have a good time. I'd say it's a very funny film. It's like I said before, it's more funnier than I thought it would be. I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. I don't really have any issues with it. I do wish there were some characters we got to see more of and get to know a little bit more about them. Like I said, I've never seen anything He-Man related. This is my first time seeing anything He-Man related, and I have to say, I really enjoyed it, and, it really goes fast. Like, I'd say the part where they're on Earth drags a pinch, just a pinch. I found it fun, but yeah, if you're a fan of He-Man, you're a fan of 80s cartoons, fan of fantasy, go check it out. Give it a go. Give it a chance and go give it a watch. It's a good time. It's funny. It's sweet. It's action-packed. Skeletor once again steals the show. I really hope it makes enough for a sequel. And, yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. But, yeah. I will be making another video at some point during the week. So, yeah, until next time, I am Draco Prime 220, signing off. And everyone, have a good night and stay safe.